Hi, it's Laura from the Self-Leadership Lab, helping you lead yourself and others through times of uncertainty. So I want to talk about self-leadership and why self-leadership is more important now than ever. And I want to do that by sharing 3 quotes from a man named Viktor Frankl with you. The first is, when we're no longer able to change a situation, we're challenged to change ourselves. That is the heart of self-leadership. When stuff is going on outside of us that we have no control over, the only thing that we're left with is how we take it, how we frame it, what we make it mean, how it affects us in our minds. So let me introduce you to Viktor Frankl. He was a famous concentration camp survivor, famous because he wrote the amazing book called Man's Search for Meaning. When he was taken to the camps, he was a psychiatrist and a neuroscientist. So he entered with both the detachment of a scientist and the humanity of a human. And he noticed there were 2 distinct types of prisoners there. Those that would throw themselves at the electric fence if given a nanosecond to do so, to end it all. And those that would fight to live up until their very last breath. And he thought, what's up with this? Probably not those words, but how do you explain this? Same hideous circumstances, yet 2 decidedly different ways of dealing with it. And he came up with this amazing quote, which you'll find in the book. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies our ability to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So what he's saying is, between something happening and how we react, what we feel, in other words, there's a space. And we have a choice with what to do with that space. So what is that space made of? It's a thought that we think about the stimulus. So something happens, we make it mean something, usually based on our life experience, our conditioning, whatever. We make it mean something. And that thought is so important because that informs your emotion. It actually creates the emotion. Emotions are thoughts felt physiologically, thoughts felt in our body. So the thought creates your emotion. The thought can create your behavior, right? So grabbing hold of that space is so important. And this is at the core of everything I do in my work. Thank you, Viktor Frankl, for that amazing thinking. It's just plain true. And the last quote I want to bring to your attention, I have to use my cheat sheet for this one because I don't have it memorized. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. So, Viktor Frankl, a wise man, and if he can do it in a concentration camp, I think I can do it in my life, and maybe you can too. So, stuff happens and we get to decide how to hold it in our consciousness. That thought we think is key because that thought creates our feelings and emotions. So make your stimulus mean something else. Make your circumstance mean something other than something that's fearful or disturbing. We'll talk more about that as the days progress. So until then, play with that space between stimulus and response and see how your life changes.